You will not believe what Donald Trump said the other day. Donald Trump suggested the other day that Chicago, and probably other cities like Chicago, be used as a military training ground. Being that he's sending in National Guards, he thought that this was a good idea to even say out in the open, out to the world, which was bizarre. Now, I don't know to what capacity they're going to use National Guards, or rather use Chicago or places like Chicago, a training ground. I'm not sure if was he talking about using like live scenario training. I don't know how that would look, or because the city is worn, torn, and looks that bad that maybe they can use it as an urban warfare kind of practice. Who knows? But even suggesting something like that was by far the dumbest thing I've ever heard any president say. Like I said before, guys, President Trump is not panning out to be the guy that we thought we were going to get. Instead, we're getting a guy that just doesn't feel right. And he's doing a lot of things that just feel wrong. Being that he stated that Chicago was next for deployment, this is why this was a good idea to use it as a training ground. Now, I don't know, again, if he's going to use it as a training ground now, or is he going to use it as a training ground in the future after they clean it up? Who knows? Not quite sure. But nonetheless, it's a bad idea. Now, it seemed like after the statement was made, even Pete Hegseth was sort of like taken back, a shock. At least that's what it looked like to me, that even he was caught off guard with that comment. Again, not a clean comment. Now, have we used National Guards in this country for various uses? Absolutely. Especially during civil unrest. We've seen it during the civil rights movement. We've seen it during a couple of the riots, especially the LA riots, where the Marines were actually used in that one. We've seen it throughout history, so it's not new. But to use the National Guards to fight crime, that is, I think, setting a bad precedent. Because, like I said before, what are you going to do once the National Guard leaves? And that's even if they do leave. But let's just think about the ramifications of them being there at first to clean up crime, but then when they leave, what is that going to look like? Now, a lot of these cities, if they don't fix their problem now, it's going to go back to the way it was. So for it to stay safe, if you will, you have to leave the National Guards there. Now, I think that's part of a bigger plan, leaving National Guards in cities so that people get used to it. Now, you're going to go after the heavy crime areas first. Then you're going to start nitpicking why you should send National Guards throughout other places in the country. You're going to be like, oh, they have a lot of car thefts there. Let's handle that. Oh, no, there's a lot of break-ins in home. Let's go there. And they're going to start coming up with BS reasons why. And again, this is if he keeps the guards there. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think they have to re-up that, I don't know, I guess you would call it a contract or order, if you will, excuse me. You have to re-up that order every, 30, 60, or 90 days. I'm not sure which it is. But if he's going to continue to do that for the foreseeable future, this is bad. Now, if he was doing it, then it would be, let's say, 90 days. And after 90 days, you pull the troops out and let the governor know that if this doesn't stay this way, we're going to send them back in. And every governor has a problem with it. There's not one governor that's like, yeah, sure, open arms. Let's have the president of the United States fix my state. Never looks good. Now, in the 80s, New York City was bad. In the 70s, New York City was bad. Pretty sure the tail end of the 60s. So that was about 20-something years of a bad, crime-ridden city. That's New York, the city I live in. At some point, we figured it out, and at some point, we worked it out, and we got the city back on track. Starting with, it was actually Dinkins, not Giuliani, who started the pathway of creating a better city. Then Giuliani took over, and then Bloomberg, made it better or kept it good, excuse me. So it was good for a while, but we figured it out on our own. Let the cities figure it out on their own. Putting in the National Guards, I think, is a segue to keeping us in a, I guess, totalitarian or authoritarianism, if I'm saying it right, state. And that is bad. I think this has, again, bigger ramifications. I think that this could be connected to getting us under control. Right. So again, part of the 2030 plan, is to get a lot of this country and countries like us that are free under more control, under more military control. And this is the segue into doing that. At least that's my theory. I could be completely wrong, but it just doesn't feel right. Having this happen and having this being done just feels like we're setting ourselves up for something bigger to happen. I think this terror attack that we're being warned about on a constant basis, I think this is connected to having more National Guards on the street, if not letting military personnel like the Marines and the actual Army roam our streets. I think this is where that terror attack is going to come from, or is going to lead to, rather, excuse me. Now, Trump was looking to deploy the National Guards to Portland, Oregon. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he tried to federalize the National Guards in California, and Governor Newsom wasn't having it, and I think he's suing Trump. Now, as far as Portland, Oregon goes, there is a stop order right now. So a federal judge told Trump that he couldn't use the National Guards to go into Portland. But according to Pinball Preparedness and a couple of, I guess, rumors that I heard, the president can't use the National Guards for the next 14 days, as there's a stop order thing, but that he could possibly use the regular military. That means the Army or the Marines, which isn't good. Now, instead of the judge just saying we can't do this at all, he's stating, well, you can't use the National Guards, and I'm not sure for what reason, but that they can use the regular military. Again, guys, this is setting us up for more control. That's what it's doing. This is, again, guys, doesn't look good. And this is just going to set us up. This is setting us up for something worse. And this is setting precedents for other presidents to do shit like this in the near future. Other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel.